Welcome to Storytelling. This week's guest is a business coach who turned an extraordinary and unconventional upbringing into a powerful foundation for helping others succeed. With a leadership experience across the public, private and voluntary sectors, they founded Bigoh Coaching to show that success doesn't have to come at the cost of burnout. Please welcome Bayo Igoh. Hello, Bayo, and welcome back to the podcast.
Hello, Debbie. Thank you for having me back. It's good to be back.
Bayo, what has changed since we last spoke?
I've just finished a big project with Lewisham. Some of the clients I'm working with, the ambition is there. It's really hard. We're working in difficult circumstances, the economy, etc., etc. But what some of these founders and leaders are sharing is it's not lack of ambition or lack of ability or capacity. It's lack of time to think, to sit and just take stock of what they're trying to achieve. A lot of hamsters, a lot of wheels. And so they're juggling. And I think what they found with coaching or support is the ability to just step back and go, let's think about this. Let's think about this deeper. And that's been a good insight, a good change.
Why is that an issue for them? Is it because they are more concentrating on moving as quickly as possible? They aren't giving themselves the time to think?
Yeah, the heat is on. The pressure is on. I work with business owners, founders, leaders, public, private, voluntary sector, and there's less funding, there's less time, there's more demands, there's expectation. If you listen to the news around teaching and budgets being, pay rises being, people think they're having to do so much. They find a little time to sit back and reflect. And those who do sit back and reflect, they're saying with that reflection, they're able to look at themselves differently and what's expected of them differently. So therefore, they then work out what capacity they need to move forward. So you could be a hamster on a wheel just going round and round and round and round. But I would argue that my most successful clients are those who've jumped off and said, stop, let's sit back and reflect. It could be sit back, reflect, ask questions, sit back, reflect, take time out, sit back, reflect and do something. It's different to what I'm doing 24/7.
I think as well, when you said that reflection in different ways, and sometimes that reflection might be, let's change direction or stop what we're doing and do something else.
So you sit down and you say to yourself, what's worked? How's it worked? Why was it worked? Should we improve? Or vice versa, or do something different? And as you say, some people might move from one business to another business or one role to another role, or be honest about how they are delegating or not delegating, be honest about how they're being supported or not being supported, and take decisions based on that. But if you haven't taken time out to think about it, then you don't necessarily know what to do about it. So very coincidental, client yesterday, burnout. I'm just working too much. It's just too much. So what are you going to do about it? Well, I'm going to take time out. I'm going to go on holiday. I'm going to go away with Mrs. And he's now saying that he's going to try to fit that in more often as opposed to working 24/7, 5 days a week, 30 days a month for every quarter. Just take some time out to do that reflection and also do other things, which is just downtime.
I'm guessing some of your clients may see their output as if they don't achieve their goals, then it's failure of some kind. So how do you help someone separate their self-worth from their output without making them feel less ambitious?
Well, Debbie, the good thing is those who have set goals are often in a better position than those who haven't, because at least you can see what you're aiming for, and at least means you think about what you need to do to get there. Try not to use the word failure and working on how or what can be improved, really. What mistakes were made? If the mistakes were made, how can you improve on that? What were the challenges? What were the obstacles? What needs to be done next time? AKA back to reflection. What could be done to make it better? I want to get 98. Reality is 96, 94, 90. But if I've stretched myself, then I'm going to get closer to where I really want to be.
So you talked about setting goals. What would you say is the most popular coaching advice that you've had to provide?
Okay. What is it you're trying to achieve? How, when, why? What's needed to help that? Is it a goal or a series of steps towards a goal? So it's really discussing what does that goal look like and how and what is needed to achieve that. And sometimes people set goals and the goal, the steps towards that goal, give clarity and often the successes. So client yesterday increased revenue by X%. What does that mean? Or client goal is to make enough money to get a mortgage or remortgage, et cetera, et cetera. Another client's grow the business by X% to employ 3 or 4 people. So the X% is a target. Actually, who are the 3 or 4 people that they're going to bring along? How are they going to bring them along? What's going to be needed for them? So the goals aren't always linear. And for others, it's setting that goal so they have a journey. They have something to aim for. They have purpose. They have that vision. So if you set yourself some ideas, some goals, some challenges, that often helps create clarity.
Have you had to work with someone who wasn't ready for change?
The coach, anyone can be coached who wants to be coached. So to understand coaching, I suspect you really want to understand and value change. But the idea is for me, when onboarding, is to really help them explain. They need to be vulnerable. They need to be open and transparent. They need to want to do something, and doing something invariably means change. I'm moving from A to B. It's some form of change. So yeah, I think hopefully not too many. It doesn't work in a coaching environment if you're not up for change.
And tell me something about yourself personally, Bayo, since we last spoke. What has life been like for you?
It's been great. I just finished a big program, and even before I came onto here, I was at a photo shoot, video call. I just did something called South Lucian Business Support Program. 5 months, won a contract through Lucian, Mayor's Office, GLA, et cetera, European funding to deliver business support to 15 businesses in the south of the borough. And that's the first contract I won on my own and partnered with an individual to deliver that. And so that meant a real being comfortable, being uncomfortable, stretching myself, setting some goals, doing things differently, doing things with a partner, working with a multitude of businesses, providing hybrid support. So that's been really good. And with that has come opportunities, helping people change, talk about leadership, talk about management and different leadership patterns. And I have embraced being a thought leader, or at least trying to think more clearly about what it is I'm trying to do, sharing some leadership insights. So yeah, the last 2 years has taken coaching away from small business coaching to more executive business coaching.
And what has been your biggest learning in this shift?
It can be done. It can be done with support. It can be done with some goals. But for me, issues of posture syndrome, issues of fear of failure, fear of success, when you get a taste of success and when you get validation or people saying, well done, you're doing the right thing, then you move on accordingly. And just to add to that, complete my PCC, and that is a big step for me because the power is in being real coaching. So those are the tidbits about the journey that I'm on so far.
And where do you see yourself in 5 years from now?
Hopefully we're before 5 years. So 5 years time, an MCC, so I'll be a master coach. 2 or 3, dare I say it, podcast, my own, why not? And I know you asked me to think about that. And a book or 2. In fact, I'm actually working on a book now. So that means it's out there now, so it's got to be done. So we're working on a book at this moment in time. But I think those are the things I would like to do in 5 years. Definitely my NCC, definitely look into podcasting, complete at least a second, possibly a third book, and continue to work in my space as an executive business coach.
Prior to our recording, we were talking about your son. What advice would you give to your son right now about
his next career steps?
Oh, that is so timely. He plays football, he's at an academy, and the difficulties we've had is for him to think about what he's going to do if football doesn't work for him. Because he's a bright lad, he's academic, but I've learned academia is not the only way. So the answer is go for your footballing abilities, but also think of a plan B and hopefully CD. Think there is other opportunities, especially if you're quite smart, you're quite bright. Think about what else you might be able to do. And if it has to be in football, even better, because some of the discussions are, okay, if I don't make it as a footballer or a professional footballer, I could do administration, I could do governance, I could do law, I could do finance in that space. And some of those discussions have moved to, if it's football, it could be in sport. So the answer is, and for any young person, the journey's never linear. There's going to be peaks and troughs. But if you could think of how you could back yourself up in another space, another discipline, could always help.
There's one more question, because I don't want anyone to feel left out at all. Because some people might think, oh yeah, it's all right for the young people, but I'm a lot older in my career and I'm struggling to find work because of age discrimination. What advice would you give to those individuals who feel a bit stuck and they're not too sure which road to take?
So I'd been working since probably 1991, 92. I wanted to be a lawyer. That didn't happen. I went into housing, did that for 33 years. Rug got pulled from under me, set up my own coaching practice, running my business, peaks and troughs, ups and downs. What I'm saying is that there are always going to be opportunities. You will just have to grab them and run with it. But run with it not on your own, because it's not going to work on your own. You have to find some support, a network that's either been through the journey you're looking to take on board and they can support you, or at least check and challenge you on that journey. So first child at 43, set up my business at 50, running it now for 8 years, learning over the past 2 years is when I can honestly say it's working for itself. So your world is your oyster. And if you don't want to set up a business, that's fine. I just worked with a person who, senior person at the organization, and was looking at being promoted. That's why they called me in to support her. And then she decided, no, I'm leaving. I want to do something completely different. It's up to you. But the opportunity will come, or the realization will come, or actually full circle back to the beginning, reflection. You take time out and reflect on what's been going well for you, what's not going so well for you, where are the challenges, and then where are the opportunities? What's your skill set? What do you want to do? There's also a reality check. We've got to pay for stuff. So think about that. Your mortgage, your rent, your family, your lifestyle, still got to think about that. In the whole, there are still opportunities out there for you.
Thank you for taking time to come back on the podcast, and I look forward to catching you up in a not too distant future as well.
Indeed, it's good to be back. Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you.
If you would like further details about Bayo, then please follow links in the show notes.